Hi everybody, this is Dave J, and yesterday I was walking to my gig at an assisted living facility that I do on a regular basis, and I experimented with a video just to try to create some content and keep myself preoccupied while I was walking to the thing, and I so enjoyed it. I really found even upon reviewing it later, after I posted it on the social networks, as they say, boy, that was fun, and I'd like to do it again. I'd like to continue, and hopefully anybody who got to watch it or will watch it will enjoy it. I am a songwriter, a performer, a storyteller, and create characters for kids and adults. At least that's what it says on my website, davejay.com. Check it out, davejay.com. But I digress, because that's what I do. I blather and I digress. Blather, digress, repeat. That's right. Well, I decided today I would make another video because I realized not only did I enjoy it, but I touched upon what I'm doing for a living, which is performing at these assisted living facilities, as I mentioned, as a door-to-door troubadour, going door-to-door in these facilities and offering music. And I failed to mention about that I actually usually start in the dining room. I play the dining room for 20-30 minutes. I do a set there. Then I go to the rooms for those who are still in their rooms and play individually. I enjoy both, of course. I like putting on a show for groups and crowds, and I'll sometimes actually just book straight concerts at some of these places as well. But the door-to-door stuff really offers a real more one-on-one, intimate, if you will, experience that you really get to know people. And as much as I would honestly tell you that I did not get into show business to do these kinds of performances or the children's hospital gigs that I play every week, or even the kids' birthday parties that I had started playing years ago and now periodically do, or the singing telegrams that I had mentioned, I do have to say, no matter what happens, of course I'm aspiring for more and more with my own original material. More about that in a minute. I would love and will plan on continuing to do these assisted living facilities. In fact, I'm aiming to have my career support me doing my original stuff so that I don't even have to charge these places that pay me to come in and perform for their underserved community, their residents and the kids in the hospital. They're so meaningful, and I'm so grateful to be able to do them, let alone for a living. It's really wonderful. Maybe I'll tell you more about that in another video. But I figured today I would tell you more about, cheers everybody, need a little coffee if you don't mind, and to wet the whistle. So I figured I would tell you more about why I got into showbiz, where all this passion for this ever came from, and for those of you who know me, know I've had this bug most of my life. So in fact, it did start when I was about 6, maybe 7 years old. I would watch the reruns of the Monkees TV show, and I would see these guys, and they'd play, and I thought wrote their own catchy, upbeat pop rock tunes. And I thought, wow, great music, really catchy. I had all the records, all my babysitters in the 70s there when I would watch these shows and reruns had the records from the 60s when they were little kids, and they all gave me their Monkees records. I had all the original Monkee records. They all said like Wendy Loves Davy on the back of the cover and stuff. Anyway, and then they put on outrageous costumes and would act silly, and I thought, and they're funny, and they play little creative characters, and the girls chased them everywhere they went, and I thought, my goodness, all 3 of those things, that's a career worth having. So that stuck with me. Then, of course, I started finding out about Peter Sellers. I'd see Pink Panther movies and and other stuff that he would do, and Mel Brooks. I started becoming very aware of him, and then I was like, well, wait a second, who's this Mel Brooks guy? And then I learned that he was a writer on Your Show of Shows, Sid Caesar, and that amazing writing staff, and the golden age of television was a thing. And then I was like, well, what came before that? Oh, the golden age of radio. Well, what came before that? Oh, vaudeville. Okay. I'm like starting to, whoa, all this stuff's incredible. And all these guys I'd see on like the Munsters and other TV shows and reruns, like some of these guys were vaudeville stars, you know, like Borscht Belt comedians and all that stuff, big influence. And then finally somebody said that my buddy Steven Glicksman, one of my best friends growing up, we loved the Monkees. We even went and saw Davy and Mickey in concert at the Paramount Theater in the Empire State Building. I think that was the Paramount. And it was amazing. All great memories. And Stephen and I would pretend to be, we had a little group called the Little Monkees, L-I''L. And we'd put on shows in my backyard, and we'd get about a song and a half in, and we'd start giggling. And the whole neighborhood would come. We'd invite the neighborhood, and they'd all come to the show, and it was great memories. Anyway, and then I went to sleepaway camp, and, you know, they really had a very creative outlet with shows and talent shows and concerts and all sorts of things. I got a lot of experience there as a youngster. But always had these showbiz dreams. I was going to mention also my buddy Steven Glicksman's older brother David. He was the one who said, oh, you like the Monkees? Well, they actually all came about because of this group you probably have never heard of called the Beatles. And then I learned all about the Beatles, and I was like, oh my, geez, the game's over, you know, that's it, I'm in, all my chips, you know. So ever since I was 9 years old, I started writing songs, really originally hoping to become the fifth monkey, but, and I've just continued from there. And I basically would go back and forth between wanting to do comedy stuff and then music stuff. And I would, you know, my hands were full with all this stuff. My head was full with all this stuff. Always looking for outlets for one of the or the other. And so really, as much as I enjoy what I do for a living, it's really all about creating original content and getting it out there for people who appreciate melodic, upbeat, catchy pop rock, or silly, ridiculous characters. Another big comedy influence I haven't mentioned that I really got to know more when I was a teenager was Steve Martin. Steve Martin's stand-up stuff. I memorized every record by the time I was like 10th grade, and I would go around to like all the different tables in the cafeteria initially and just do Steve Martin routines. They were to this day, I only know I think I only have two friends, or unfortunately one has passed, but who I can make any reference to a Steve Martin routine and they know they can finish the line. My buddy Phil and my late friend Dan. But anyway, so I hope you will avail yourself, if you're interested in any of these type of things, in checking out the music that I put out under Dave J, Davejay. I have a website, davejay.com, davejay.com, or my band name, which was The Sound of Monday. I should say my band was The Sound of Monday. I put these bands together, these lineups of my band, back in the 90s around songs I'd written, and we'd play out, and I had various number of different lineups, and was with an indie label called Mother West, and we recorded some stuff, and actually a bunch of that stuff was never released, and I've worked something out recently where I am going to get those masters and be able to release them. So, long time coming, so stay tuned for that. I'm very excited to release these tunes. There's like 19 songs unreleased. Really, really good recordings. Very proud of the songs and the recordings in particular. Produced by Charles Newman from Mother West and Danny Weinkoff, who I'm currently recording with some new stuff. Stay tuned for more on that as well. And Danny's the bass player with They Might Be Giants, and does his own kids music with his own Red Pants band. All worth checking out, so I encourage you to do so. And also, over the years, I've created some character-driven comedic content and intend to continue with that as well. I created something called 1 Minute Autobiography you can look up, where I wrote 1 minute long songs from the first person perspective of iconic figures from history, recorded the music with my buddy Len Monticello, whom I recorded many things with over the years, hundreds of tracks. Also, the pop rock stuff predominantly. And then something called Punctuation People, which is more like a Schoolhouse Rock type of animatic thing where I created characters like, down, period, the dot, father. You're gonna go do this, period. Things like that. And so that's what I'm gonna strive to continue to do. And with this social media stuff, and I'm learning a lot from guys like Adam Ivy I mentioned, but also in particular, I've really been delving deeply into material by a guy named Damien Keyes from Brighton, UK. I can't really do the accent. I don't know which accent. That was not right. Accent? Yeah, accent, right. Can we edit that out? By the way, I'm not editing any of this stuff. Maybe eventually I will. I'm just trying to go stream of consciousness, hope not to bore you to death, because we are living in the age of boredom. And that's really why I think the entertainment value of the silliness and the characters and the catchy pop rock and all that, hopefully a positive distraction from the craziness of this world and the boredom that people feel because we have it so good in this world. So anyway, with all that in mind, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy the other stuff I've put out and have yet to put out and will put out. And please, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know anything you think, good or bad or indifferent, and I'll continue to try to make these videos and let you know what's happening and share any thoughts I have and creative output as well. And as they say, they like to say, they go smash the what's that, the accept button? Not the accept button. They say smash the subscribe button. Well, I don't say that because everyone says that. I'm looking for my own angle. I say it would be more likely for me to say smush the button. Because, you smush it and then it unsmushes. You want to smush it for someone else. So smush that subscribe button and stay tuned for more fun, music, and merriment. Cheers. And now I got to push the off button.